Hello, everybody, and welcome to SpellCast, the Gaming Wizards podcast.
Yeah.
We decided to do a podcast because we can.
Yeah, we do a lot of rambling about,
Yeah, and there's
whatever.
lots of test recordings and stuff from the days before we had all this cool stuff to work with. We would have to do a lot of rambling and stuff to make sure we had audio that was good to use, and lots of random things were said and rambled on about.
Yeah.
So I was like, we should make a podcast, and since we're the Gaming Wizards, we can call it SpellCast. And that's my favorite pun of all time so far.
It's so obvious and terrible, but it's brilliant. I think it's hilarious.
Also, I get to use the logo I originally designed for Gaming Wizards, and John was like, no, I made this one. And I was like, okay, whatever.
I mean, to be fair, I think we were working on them at the same time without knowledge of either of us working on one. And mine had I don't know.
Yeah, you had the cool font and everything.
Yeah,
but I liked my little joystick with the wizard hat, and it was cool.
Yeah.
I mean, I wasn't crushed or anything that we didn't get to use it, because I'm trying to force us to use it here, because it's yeah, this is mine. I want to use it.
Well,
let's do it.
The thing I really liked about how you kind of redesigned it for SpellCast was you made the cord coming off the joystick into the S.
Yeah. I was kind of proud of that, too.
I think that's cool.
We never did settle the matter of the stars.
We didn't. I mean, I still think it's recognizable as a wizard hat without the stars, and it's, less cluttered looking.
I don't think it's it's 3 stars. I don't think it's all that cluttered looking, to be honest.
So my biggest thing with the stars issue is it feels really Disney to me.
Mm-hmm.
If you think of iconic wizards, the only one with stars on their hat is Mickey Mouse. Yeah, Gandalf, no stars. That's all I'm saying.
But he's not a cartoon character, though. He has, other things to establish him as a wizard. He has a staff, and he does, all this cool magic and stuff.
And his beard.
And his beard, too. I mean,
But,
and we don't have that other stuff to establish in a logo.
You could put a beard on the joystick.
I could, but then that would... If you want to talk about it being too busy, that would definitely push it into too busy territory.
I think it'd be funny.
I mean, I
can picture it.
I think the hat, the joystick, and the cord making the S are, the main elements of the, design logo. And
yeah.
I know a thing or two about design and elements and all that stuff. I took classes. I know Photoshop and all that shit, so...
I just make stuff that I think looks appealing, and people are hey, that looks pretty good.
That's 99% of what it is, but,
yeah.
Having just a little bit of an actual, academic background, and it's oh, that's cool. I know this is good because I learned about it in that class or whatever.
Yeah.
So, it's it looks good, but you also know why it looks good.
There is a sort of, psychology to stuff like that, too. Things that people are going to find visually or, appealing. Honestly, that applies to almost anything, even music and stuff. There's things that, without realizing it, people are psychologically drawn to it and find it appealing. That's why there's so many pop songs with that same exact beat.
Yeah, it's oh, these people did that song, everybody liked it, we should do a song that's kind of like that.
There's actually a certain beat that's been scientifically tested that people find it appealing, and that's why it's used over and over again.
Mm-hmm. And that's why it annoys people who know better.
Yeah.
It's god damn it, that's the exact same tune they used in all their other songs. I get it, it's popular, but come on.
Hey, whatever works, whatever gets the sales, I get it from a business standpoint, but from that creative standpoint, it is
it's
a little
good for
disappointing.
Business, bad for art.
Yeah.
The thing about art, you're supposed to be creative and try new things. And business, it's this makes money, keep doing this until it stops making money. Then we'll try something new.
And that's why the gaming industry is starting to kind of stagnate.
I like how you brought this back to gaming.
Oh, yeah, dude, I'm a sorcerer.
A wizard, you might say.
I was gonna
Casting
say wizard.
A spell. It's not gonna be all magic and wizard puns, I swear. But yeah, the gaming industry. Right.
Yeah.
Business.
Well,
business.
like, if you notice, like, a lot of the big game companies, they tend to do what's safe, what they know is
Exactly.
going to sell. That's why every single Call of Duty game is the same exact bullcrap over and over, and why they release one, like, every single year, because that's how they keep making sales. That's a good
and
way
they
to
have
make
to
money.
and also they put millions of dollars into making these games, so they have to make millions of dollars back in sales to make a profit. Otherwise, they're losing money. So, I mean, if you want to make millions of dollars, you have to use the ideas that made you millions of dollars in the first place. So it's just a circle, a cycle of this works, keep doing this, use that money to make more of this, and it's just like you get the same stuff over and over again, and people complain about it.
I feel like the only major game company that does kind of try to work outside of the box is Nintendo, and it's very hit and miss for them.
Yeah, it's like sometimes
the Wii and the whole casual gaming thing, Wii Sports and the fitness stuff, that was huge. That prompted Xbox and PlayStation to jump on the motion control bandwagon of like, look, we got it too. But then there was the Wii U, which just had terrible sales starting out. I hear it's going up.
Yeah, I was gonna say I think it's getting better now because like they didn't have a very big launch library, as I understand it. Like there wasn't like you would have the system, but nothing to really do with it except for like whatever came with it and whatever you could download for $1 here, $1 there.
You had like Nintendo Land, which is really fun and all, but
I haven't. I have not even touched a Wii U yet, so
there's some really good party games on it.
Nintendo does party games pretty well.
Yeah, they do. The Monster Hunter game for that looks pretty good. Been over a friend's house, watched him play it a few times. Mm-hmm. Looks really fun. It also has online play and stuff. I plan on picking that game up when I get a Wii U, so that
when, not if.
Yeah, when. It's definitely a when.
Smash Brothers, of course.
Yeah. That's actually kind of what I'm holding out for. I'm hoping when they release the new Smash Brothers, they'll release like a special edition Wii U that comes with it. Because like my friend, he got the Zelda one that came with like the download code for Wind Waker HD or whatever.
Yeah.
And the tablet controller has like the Triforce logo and it has like Hylian text on the side and stuff. It's really fancy looking.
Does it say anything?
I don't know, actually. I don't think we tried translating it.
You should, just to see just what it says, like, if anything. It's probably, like, just gibberish or something.
Yeah. I love when they do that.
Mm-hmm.
I actually remember doing that with the Elder Scrolls games on the boxes. So, there was one day at the shop where I was looking at Morrowind, and I was like, aw, it's just a bunch of random gibberish. Like, it's just random letters.
Oh,
but
really?
if you read Oblivion's, or at least the collector's edition, I was reading it the other day, it's like, from blood and fire, Lord Dagon shall be reborn. It just loops that, like, over and over again around the edge of it. But it's still kind of cool that they put something like that.
I like it when games, like, have... Even if it's just, like, the English alphabet and symbols or whatever like that. I like when games and stories do that, and it's just like Easter eggs for you to translate. Like, the Bionicle game that used to be on the Lego website like a million fucking years ago? Yeah, it had like the Bionicle text like all over the place, and like I just went through and translated all of it, and it's like, oh, that's cool, that's funny, and like there's like this one part like where there's this like icy wall. It's like it's the wall of history, and it's like all the important events that happen in the Bionicle world. It's Lego copyright information.
That's really funny.
Like, it's like copyright Lego, like, 2002, Lego Company Limited, etc., etc. It's like, oh, that's kind of funny. And there's another one that's like, what do you get if you multiply 6 by 9? Because that's, like, in the Hitchhiker's Guide, that's the ultimate question. It's like, it's a reference and an Easter egg. I love it.
That's really good.
Yeah.
If we ever did something like that, where we like came up with like a cipher like that and put it like into the background of games, we need to have somewhere where it says "Eat at Joe's."
Yeah.
It's like the classic. It's got to be there.
Just have one that's like in an Easter egg like room that's really hard to get to, and if somebody translates, it's like, wow, you have way too much time on your hands.
I think it's actually funny though that I can still read Daedric. Like, if you put, like, a thing of Daedric in front of me, it'll take me a little bit, but I'll be like, there's a couple of them that I sometimes mix up, but, like, I'll be able to be like, okay, that says this. I actually don't know if I ever did that with Skyrim. I should take a look at that.
I'm not sure there's any Daedric in Skyrim. Like, not a lot of it, I don't think. I don't recall coming across any of it, but that doesn't mean...
I think with Skyrim, the bigger thing is that there's dragon everywhere.
Yeah.
And actually, the limited edition...
all the walls you can, like, translate into English and stuff.
The limited edition guide I have actually has, like, the dragon alphabet in the back.
Oh, nice.
So, like, the dragon alphabet is actually kind of interesting, too, because it's one of those ones where, like, instead of just having a character for every letter,
it's like syllables,
it has, like, the syllables and stuff.
That's nice.
So
that's pretty cool.
Yeah,
I saw somebody with a dragon, like, writing tattoo on their arm once, and, like, recently, too. And I was like, I wonder what shout that is. Because, like, it was very obviously, like, those symbols. I was like, that can't possibly be anything else. I wonder what that says. But I didn't memorize it or anything like that, so I'll probably never know, but it's probably just, like, foos or something. It was a short one. It was, like, three characters.
That actually would be kind of a cool thing to get as a tattoo. Like, something like that where most people aren't going to get it. It's just going to look like some cool symbols, but, like, it could say something, like, nonsense or something, like, meaningful, and it'd still look cool.
And it would actually mean what it says. Like, people get, like, those Chinese tattoos. It's like, yeah, this means bravery. No, that says chicken soup.
Yeah.
It's like, well, fuck. But if you get something that, like in Daedric or something like that, you know what it says because you can translate it.
Actually, speaking of Daedric, that reminds me. There was, back in high school, there was one of the projects that the Photoshop class had where it was, like, make a, like, creative collage or whatever. You had to take, like, different elements of things and, like, put them together in, like, a whatever. I did some weird nonsense, but they were all printed out and put in the hallway.
Oh, yeah?
And I remember walking through the hallway and someone had Daedric on theirs, and it just said, like, fuck you. Like, straight up.
Oh, that's brilliant.
I was like, oh, wow. But it was just funny because, like, I walked by that, I was like...
It's like, wait a minute.
That's great. Like, because there's very few people who would have caught that. And... it was funny
that's
to
why
see.
it's fun to like include stuff like that. Like, you know, somebody's going to translate it, but most people would be like, yeah, it probably says something funny, but I don't really care.
Yeah,
like, you know, or it could be like relevant to the story of the game or whatever. Like Dead Space has like its like made up language and stuff like that, and there's like all these messages written in blood that actually say things that are relevant to the plot, as far as I understand. I never actually translated any myself, but I've seen, like, pictures like, yeah, this text here says this, and I'm like, oh,
that's cool.
That's interesting.
Yeah. I did a lot of, like, translating Daedric.
I think in Dead Space 2, some of them are actually, like, cheat codes that you can enter, and, like...
That's cool.
Because, like, there's an upgrade system for your armor, and you use power nodes, which are, like... It's like the item that you collect that's hard to get, so use it wisely to upgrade whatever.
Right.
And, like, I think one of the, like... writings is like a code to get like 10 of them or something, and like, oh, that's cool. I'll probably never use that, but it's nice to know that they put, you know, that kind of stuff in there.
I wonder if they should do something like that with Borderlands. Like, you know how they have the shift codes?
Mm-hmm.
Like, in one of the DLCs, they should have put like something coded on a wall somewhere that was a shift code. I think that would be brilliant.
So you have to like
find it in game, translate it, and then like go out of game and enter it in.
That would be pretty cool. Maybe they'll do something like that in the new one that's coming out.
That would be cool. I can't wait for that.
It looks pretty cool. Like,
I just want to play as Claptrap. I mean, there's
yeah.
Like the other characters I'll probably play as because I'm sure they're interesting, but like I haven't really looked into the game much. I watched a couple trailers on it, but I just want to play as Claptrap.
It sounds like it has some pretty cool mechanics because like you're like on the moon base or something like that. So like gravity is like a factor, and I think like oxygen, like you have to like move from place to place where there's actually like atmosphere and stuff or something.
Huh. I know there's going to be like new elemental weapons.
Yeah.
So that'll be kind of cool.
I mean, I feel like they could have done it without making it like a prequel to Borderlands 2. Because you know how that ends.
Right.
Jack's gonna die, Wilhelm's gonna die.
Well, yeah.
Spoilers.
And the sheriff chick.
Oh, is she? Oh, is she one of the
characters?
one of the
she's
characters?
One of the characters.
I did not know that.
And the other one is from a DLC from the first one.
Oh.
I forget which DLC it was, but yeah, that's who the other character is from as well.
I mean, it's kind of cool that they're using characters that they've already established instead of making up new ones like they did for Borderlands 2. But
yeah,
I mean, for Borderlands 2, it's like it's a sequel. You got to have new stuff in there. It's like
right.
You know, there's not a lot of they didn't have a lot of the universe to work with. So now we have Borderlands 2, which expands it a lot more. You have more characters, so it's kind of cool that they're doing that. But
I kind of like the fact that they are using some of those existing characters because you kind of get to know more about them.
Yeah,
like,
I mean that's what I mean. Like I wasn't saying that's a bad thing. I like that they're not just making up more new characters,
right,
and using ones that they already have, but they could have used ones that we don't know are all going to die. Because I
which
mean,
is fair.
What's the point of anything you do in this game? Everybody dies. Jack dies. The guy you're working for, apparently.
You get to learn how he rose to power because I mean that's kind of glossed over in the game.
Yeah, but I mean it's still like I don't know if there's all that much to really flesh out of that though. Because I mean,
well, we'll see how they like do it. Like,
I mean,
I'm
still
the
interested. Like, I
good.
want the game.
Yeah.
I don't like prequels, honestly. Like, there's ways to do them well, and, you know, then there's, like, okay, we know how this ends. Everybody dies.
Yeah.
Nothing we do here has any point.
It's like the Clone Wars animated series.
Yeah, really.
It's like, this ends with Anakin killing all the younglings.
Yeah, I mean,
it's all, we've seen it happen already. It's too late.
I mean, the only real, like, difference here is the implication that his apprentice survived. Because, like, I mean, I'm not going to spoil anything like that, but, you know, it's kind of implied that she wasn't there when everybody died, so whatever. But, I mean, she's not, like, kind of a bland character, honestly. Like, she has her moments, but it's like they're trying too hard to make you like her.
Yeah.
It's like,
I haven't seen much of the series, and I probably will never
like,
go out of my way to watch it, but...
She's not unlikable, but I didn't like her because it's, like, they never tell you anything about her. She's just there to, like, to not be Anakin, basically. Because, like, if Anakin were, like, younger, then it would make sense for him to do some of the things that she does. Because it's, like, you know, she's an apprentice, she's impulsive, and learning about the Force and all that stuff.
Right.
And I feel like if this series were set, like, 10 years earlier, it would be Anakin doing all these things. But, I mean, it's like, oh, this is the Clone Wars. We have to have, you know, the clones and everything like that.
Yeah.
And Anakin was younger when this wasn't happening, so we need somebody to basically do the stuff we can't have him doing. But it doesn't... Like, if there were more episodes about her, like, not just where she's there,
right.
I think it would make her more interesting, because you literally never learn anything about her.
Huh.
I mean, there's kind of development, like, from when she first shows up to, like, the end of the series, but nothing before that. She just shows up.
Just, like...
Boom. Like, hey, by the way, Anakin, here's your new apprentice. It's like, what? It's like...
Yeah. It's kind of, like, shoehorned in there. Like, yeah, he had an apprentice. Yay!
It could have been worse. They could have made her annoying.
That's true.
But, I mean... I almost wish they had, just so I would have some kind of emotion to experience when she's on screen. Otherwise, it's like, God damn it, she's so fucking annoying. Why is she here? Not just like, oh, yeah, she's there. That's, okay.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah. She could be literally any other Jedi, and it would be more interesting.
It's actually kind of funny, like... There's the part of me that really likes, like, Star Wars as a concept, but then there's a part of me that's like, I never really enjoyed the movies all that much. Like, they're decent movies. I mean, I remember getting excited when, like, the new trilogy was coming out and going to those as they were coming out, but, like, looking back on it, it's like, it's an interesting universe, but it's not... Like, for me, it's never been super immersive. Like, I've never
you kind of
really
have to
get
have, like,
it.
that nostalgia for it to really get into it. Because, like, I mean, I did grow up watching the original trilogy. I never saw them in theaters, because that was...
Right.
Even Return of the Jedi was a good several years before my time. But, I mean, we had them on, like, VHS, and eventually DVD, and eventually the re-release DVD... And we'll probably be getting the Blu-ray once they come down in price. Just because. I mean...
Yeah.
But yeah, I did get excited for the prequels, because I was like 10. And, you know...
I don't remember which book series it was, but there was one book series that I really liked.
A Star Wars book series?
Yeah, like, back in, like, 4th or 5th grade or something, there was a couple of them that I read. They had to do with when Obi-Wan was Qui-Gon's apprentice.
Oh, yeah.
I read a couple of those, and I remember really liking those, but, like, I don't remember what the books were. I don't remember anything about them, really. I just remember them being good.
Just from what you said, I could probably find them, because, like, I remember, I think it was, I had the book, like, the kids' book version of Episode 1.
Right.
And it had, like, an excerpt of, I think it might have been the exact one you're thinking of, because it was like Obi-Wan doing, like, a training session or something like that, and getting frustrated, and, you know, all the stuff that a Jedi apprentice would go through. I'm like, oh, that's cool. I want to get that book someday, and I never got that book. I got like 1,000 other Star Wars books, half of which I haven't read yet, but yeah, I've got like a whole shelf full of them. Some of which I've read, some of which are part of a series that I haven't, because I keep finding them in like Goodwill and stuff, and be like, oh, cool,
right.
I'll get the rest of that eventually. Still haven't.
Yeah, it happens.
Yeah.
Part of me, like, I love all the video games I play. Like, it's just something that's always been natural for me. I grew up playing video games, and I'll probably do it for the rest of my life. But there's part of me that wishes I could, like, pull myself away from them easier and read more. Because I do have a lot of books that I want to read. I have a hard time getting myself to sit down and actually do it.
I find that it helps to read in places where you can't, like, sit down and play a video game. Like,
right.
Like, most of the reading I've done in the past couple of years has been on the bus going to and from, campus.
Yeah.
So it's like, I don't have anything else to do. I could listen to music, but I've listened to everything on my iPod like 500 times. So like, I'll just pull out Game of Thrones and finish that in a semester.
Unfortunately, like, the way my life is set up, there's not really a way for me to do that. Like, if I'm not at my house, I'm at work, surrounded by video games. Like, there's no escape for me. It's just kind of me now. I am video games.
Yeah, I mean, it's like, it depends like on your habits, really. Like, if you don't already like to read, you can't really make yourself want to read more, because like,
that's the thing,
you know,
too, though.
Like I said, I have like 1,000 Star Wars books, so that was mostly what kept me reading when I probably wouldn't normally have otherwise read a lot. I mean, there was like Harry Potter and Lord of the Rings and stuff.
Thing is, too, like, if I start reading, like, I will sit there for like 10 hours and just go through a book. But getting myself to start is hard because there's so many distractions.
Yeah.
Like, with all the technology out there. It's just like,
just
hey,
go
PlayStation,
go
Netflix.
Rent a cabin in the woods for like a week.
Right.
And you'll probably finish 10 books and write another one.
Yeah.
Just because there's no technology to like, it's like, yeah, I'm kind of bored with this book. Like, I'll probably finish it later. I'm gonna go play Warframe for 5 hours straight.
Yeah.
I mean, like, honestly,
go
I
grind
can't
out
even
gear.
I can't even play a video game for like 5 hours straight. Like I don't have the attention span to do anything for that amount of time.
Yeah.
Like, I think the last time I sat down and played a video game for like more than an hour or two was when I first got Halo Reach, and I spent like probably 6 hours just fucking around in Forge. Like, yeah, I made a pirate ship.
I still remember the day that came out. So, like, I pre-ordered it. So, me and Cora would go down GameStop, and the one I pre-ordered it from was the one in the mall.
Oh, yeah?
But since the mall closed, like, all the pre-orders from there, when they did the midnight release, were sent over to the other store, down by that Target. So, we go down there, and they didn't really say much about it, but we found out that there was a separate line for the people who pre-ordered at the other store.
Oh.
So we were literally... So even though we got there at, like, 12, we were, like, third in line, and, like, got the game right away, and just... Like, one of my friends was, like, in the middle of the line, so we were like, we got it, we'll let you know how it is! That night, though, we beat the entire campaign on Legendary that night.
Wow.
Like, just 8 hours, it was, like, 10 a.m., Like, passed out, woke back up, continued playing.
Wow.
That game consumed me for a while.
That's pretty amazing.
Yeah.
But yeah, like, even a new game that I've been anticipating for, like, a year, like, I'll get it and play it for a while and then just, like, go do something else. Like, I can't devote myself to any one task for that amount of time straight without, like, doing something else for at least a little bit.
Right.
And I think the only time I ever actually did that was playing around with Forge in Halo Reach.
There were some cool stuff. There was a lot of maps that I started in Reach that I never got to finish. Like, there was one I started that something happened and I lost the map.
Oh, lame.
And it sucked because it was actually turned out to be a very interesting one at the very least. But I know I had a lot of, like, game types and stuff I had come up with, and it's like, it sucked because I didn't have a lot of people to play it with. Because, I had, like, the small group of people I played with, but, like, it was just, like, the 4 of us, and it was, like infection variants work best with, like, 16 people, you know? My favorite one was the one I did where it was just, like, this dark hallway. Like, there was a, like, tunnel piece, and if you stacked them on top of each other, it made, like, little, like, hexagon type tunnel. So I just had, like, 4 of those, maybe, like, stuck together. And I had the zombies start behind a shield wall because I've early testing found out that, like, if the survivors just spammed the pistol at the beginning, they would just get constant headshots when the zombies spawned because it was just a hallway.
Nice.
But the zombies had it cloaking, like 100% cloaking. So, like, if they move too fast, you're gonna see them. But otherwise, it's pitch black pretty much.
And if
there's
they
like
actually
some
move
blinking
slowly
red
the
lights.
way zombies are supposed to, they're actually gonna stay invisible. That's awesome.
So, like, you're in this dark, cramped hallway with these faint red lights. Like, I used one of the lighting orbs to keep it really dark. And it's just this really claustrophobic feeling of, like, oh god, where are they? Because there actually was a lot of unique ways you could approach them, because, like, you could go straight to the center, but the walls were slightly slanted, so you could kind of creep up the side. So it was really fun the one time we got, like, a big group of people, because, like, eventually you get down to, like, the one person just, like, going crazy with, like, their gun just, like, swinging around as they're just getting hoarded.
That's amazing.
It was really cool. But
and probably a better horror experience than most games to come out in the past few years. So, like,
it did have a good horror element to it.
It shows you what you can do with just lighting and like one mechanic. So low lighting and the enemies are invisible. That's fucking terrifying.
Yeah. But the other thing that's terrifying about that too is, like, your enemies are intelligent. Like, it's other people behind it, and that, like, if they could capture that kind of feeling in a game, I think they would make, like, the perfect horror game. Like, intelligent enemies that were instantly deadly in, like, that, in the right atmosphere. So, like, they knew how to sneak up on you and, like, could outthink you.
Not just like, oh, there's a thing, I will attack it now!
Yeah.
By charging straight at it. Oh no, a door. Now I have to break the door down and give him time to hide in the locker in that room.
Yeah.
Which I know is there, but still will not check, because my program determines that once I break the door down, I will leave.
Right. Horror's
Actually,
such a weird genre.
Now that I think about it, the whole, like, hiding in, like, a cupboard thing, there's a game, it's like an RPG Maker kind of game, so, like, all the characters are sprites. It's actually, I saw a Let's Play of it, it looks, like, the monster looks kind of ridiculous, but the way he, like, chases you around is pretty cool, because, like, there's one part where it chases you into a room, and you have to hide in this cupboard, but you have to do it quickly. Because if you do it while it's in the room, it sees you go in there and still, like, grabs you and insta-kills you. I'm like,
that's cool.
That's pretty fucking cool.
It's amazing what people do with, like, the little, like, RPG Maker stuff.
Yeah.
Like, because there's that one game that I got really into for a while, that Embrick.
Oh, yeah?
That game has 30 endings. Like, this one dude made that, and, like, it's just really immersive, like, world. Like, it's silly, but like there's a lot of humor in it, but it's also like interesting. There's a lot of like little details you get of stuff that's like it's like playing D&D. Like
Oh yeah, yeah. It's like
that
you can...
world, like there's like the set stuff that's probably going to be happening like in D&D, like if you have like a overarching story, that's probably where the main focus is going to be. But like a good DM is going to like write backstory and stuff for like all these other characters just in case it came up, kind of thing.
That's
you know,
that's
and
good writing. It's like I could go down this path, which is where I'm obviously supposed to go, but wait, that looks like a hole in the wall. I bet I'm not supposed to get out there. Oh
Yeah.
wait, there's a whole room in here. Oh look, story.
And you kind of get the feeling from that game. Like there's a lot of like endings and stuff that you can get in it that you require these huge like sidetracks that just don't make a lot of sense. Like there's a couple of them that aren't like full endings. So like usually when you get an ending, you like wake back up in your room like it was a dream kind of thing. But and there's a chart that plays after the credits where it shows all the endings you've gotten.
Oh, that's cool.
So, like, you can see how many you've gotten, and, you know, some of them you can re-experience, but there's a couple that aren't part of the chart because they're, like, they completely reset the game.
Oh.
And they're, like, these weird specific things. Like, there's this guild of adventurers that, there's, like, this fountain you go to, and there's a couple of levers, and one of them, you, like, kill most of them, and, like, the one, like, remaining one, which is like the mage, comes and like blows you up for like killing her party. But so
that's a bad ending.
Yeah, but it's like it's off to the side. It's in kind of like this weird area that you only go to for like one other thing. So like finding that ending, like I would not have gotten 90% of the endings in that game if it weren't for the like guides that were written for it, because they require like a lot of like talking to certain people, and there's some interesting stuff to that. But the one, God, I just lost my train of thought. Oh well. Oh, the one ending I got first, actually, though, bringing up the D&D thing, is because the writer had a D&D background, so like there's a lot of references to D&D in the game. But the first ending I came across was really early on, and at first I thought like that was just where the game stopped at the time and it was unfinished. And it kind of broke the immersion for me initially, because like the ending I got was one of the joke endings where like it goes out of the game as if it was like a D&D campaign, and like the players get in this argument like, are you like one of them wasn't there, and it's like, are you NPCing my character? Stop shipping them with your princess thing. It was really funny. But like looking back, it's really funny, but that being the first ending I came across was kind of like, it almost took me out of it, because it was kind of like a jarring, like,
it's like, wait,
takes
what?
you out of the immersion of the world.
It's like when a show ends and it's like, it was all a dream. It's like, what, wait, what? No, that's...
Yeah.
You're fucking with me, right? There's no way. There's no way they were dead all along and the island was the afterlife. That's the bullshit.
Right. But yeah, like I went back in and I found out that like once you get certain endings, it unlocks more parts of the game.
Oh, that's cool.
So like you go through and you get like one of the endings with one of the characters, and then like if you go back and talk to that character again, like sometimes you can repeat the ending, but sometimes it's like you talk to another character and then talk to them, and it like continues the story down this other path.
Huh.
So, it was a really cool game. Like, part of me thinks...
That's an interesting way to do, like, multiple endings, too.
Yeah.
Like, I like when a game branches out story-wide. It's not like, oh, you have this ending, or this ending, based on what you do at this exact point, and everything is exactly the same until you get there. And not like, oh, you talked to this guy instead of this guy in this part, so that means you're going down a completely different, like, branching path of storylines. It's like, well, that's awesome.
Yeah.
That's like, that's a good way to do replay value, because I'm going to want to play again and see what happens if I talk to this person at this point in the story.
Yeah.
And, like,
honestly, I can't think of a lot of good examples of that. where like it was done well.
I want to say that BioWare games
Yeah,
say what you will about Mass Effect 3. I haven't played Mass Effect 3. Apparently the endings kind of sucked and people were really pissed off about that. But Knights of the Old Republic, the Star Wars RPG, there's I've tried to play through it 3 times. The first time I didn't get past the first area because I picked the wrong class apparently. But the second and third times, I was finding completely different stuff based on what I said to which character at which time.
That's cool.
There were completely different areas that I couldn't even get into the first time because
right.
Oh, you didn't put enough points into talking to people, or you're better at with these types of characters now, so do this. It's oh, that's cool. There's this whole area that I never got to the first time, and there's a whole story going on behind that door that guy wouldn't let me through because I didn't have the right skills.
I feel like some of Dragon Age kind of does that okay. Yeah, there's the set paths you go down, but there are those big choices of the first one where you have the choices between factions. When you go to the elves, you can choose to help the elves or the werewolves. That does kind of have an effect on other stuff in the game, and you can see it with the dialogue and with what happens in the world. It's not huge, but that's the only thing I can think of that I've experienced where they did that well.
Even in Knights of the Old Republic, you still have your good ending and your bad ending. It just everything kind of loops back together. So there's a lot of side stories and stuff you can find out and stuff, but the overall ending of the main story, it's it's either going to happen this way or this way, depending on how much of a dick you were to who. And Mass Effect is pretty much the same, except it only has one ending until you get to the third one, apparently. But there's 3 endings, but apparently they're all the same with different colored filters.
Yeah,
but that's
I've heard.
Like I said, I haven't played it. I'm just going off what I've heard.
Right,
and it's entirely possible that they've added new endings by now. So
I need to get back to playing Mass Effect because I still haven't finished the first one. I barely got that far into it either. I got in and it's this game is really fun, but it's I could go do what it's telling me to do story-wise, or I could do every single possible side quest that popped up for me. So I went and did that instead of going on the story. So by the time I actually got to the story, I was quite a few hours into the game, but I forget what came out that I started playing instead, but something else popped up then. I started playing that. My big problem with games is I tend to game hop a lot. So it's one thing I liked about when we started doing the Let's Plays is it gives
us a reason to finish them.
Yeah, there's a lot of games that I want to play that are either long or I just you know I get distracted by something else. So it's nice to have those things that we Let's Play to be all right, just go in and play through this game.
Yeah, I mean, not even necessarily as a Let's Play recording it, just having somebody there to talk about it, and and that's kind of what got us into doing a Let's Play in the first. I mean, we had the idea, and then we played FF6, and it's we could do videos of this.
Yeah, we were 5 hours in FF6 and laughing our heads off because of how we named the characters and the voices we were giving them and stuff,
and all the stupid jokes and
and we were why weren't we recording this?
If we had recorded that and put it up as a Let's Play, we'd probably have 1,000 subscribers by now. Just from that, how much fun. It doesn't even matter if we were pandering to an audience.
Right.
We were having genuine fun playing that game.
Yeah.
And the fact that we were recording it would have been completely incidental.
Yeah. One thing I do kind of feel the downside about recording is you do kind of have that sort of
are people going to want to watch this?
That thought of I have to try to be entertaining thing. And there's part of me that I like that because it gets me to kind of vocalize a bit more, because normally I tend to be quieter. And that's something I've just been trying to work on throughout my life as it is. Especially with having the job and working customer service, trying to vocalize more is something that I've been working on. But so that's the thing I like about recording, is it kind of helps with that. I'm trying to entertain, so I'm trying to be a little more vocal so that there's not too many dead points in the recording.
Yeah.
But the downside is there is that, like, knowledge of, like, I'm trying to keep this going.
And that's kind of where, like, doing a two-person Let's Play kind of helps, because it's like, you're not talking to yourself or to the audience. You're talking to somebody else, and, you know, if you're friends with that person, you know, you make jokes and references and stuff, and sometimes it's funny. It's like, ha, that's funny, you know?
Yeah.
That's a joke. I get it. And, you know, it's just... It's more natural than just trying to talk to yourself. Be like, okay, I'm playing this character. I'm going to jump onto this thing now. I am going to shoot that thing.
Yeah.
Okay, I shot that thing. Now I'm going to go do the other thing. Like,
one thing I want to do when I start doing those recordings I want to do with the playing games I hadn't played yet is I want to try to go into those games with, like, a design mind. So, like, that way I'm not talking to myself. I'm not talking to the audience necessarily. I'm kind of focusing on, like, what I'm noticing design-wise. And even though I've already played it, besides the fact that Volgar the Viking inspired me to, like, do the thing, because I'm like, people need to know about this game. I'm starting with it because I already kind of noticed some of the stuff they did design-wise, and I know what I kind of want to say about the game going into it, so I think it'll be a good starting point to kind of be like, this is what I want this to feel like.
Yeah.
But I don't know how well that'll carry over into playing new games, like how quickly I'll notice design elements, but...
Like, if you kind of do it, like, part Let's Play, part review, I found that it's a lot easier to, like, articulate what you like and don't like about it. Because it's, like, happening as you're trying to think about it. So it's like, well, so that just happened. I kind of like the way they handled this mechanic, so you do that and whatever. Or, like, okay, I kind of don't like how they don't have this the way it should be, or whatever.
Or, like, oh, now it's telling me how to do this. That would have been nice to know, like, back 20 minutes ago.
Exactly. It's just like, like, you notice the things as you're trying to talk about them, as opposed to, like when you're writing a review where you have to remember, like, there was that thing I liked, and then there was that thing I didn't like. 4 out of 5. We're good. It's okay. Go buy it or whatever. You know?
It's like when I was doing that thing where I was kind of doing it to keep track of the anime I was watching, where I was, like, writing a thing on them afterwards. Like, part of it was like, okay, like, I've finished the series, I can kind of talk about it, but then there was the part where it's like trying to think back to it, like, okay, this and this, but I haven't done those in forever.
That's kind of why I, like, haven't put out my Dead Space 3 review yet, because it's like,
you have to remember back to it.
I could probably, like, give it some, like, bullshit ending or whatever, because, you know, it's just a review. It's not like, I'm not telling a story or anything like that. I'm just going through the game. It's like, this is what I like, this is what I don't like, these characters suck, these characters are cool, etc. But, like, I don't remember enough about it now to remember, like, if it's the way I think it was, or if it's like, did it actually happen like that? Like, when I was writing it, I actually forgot about the entire prologue of the game. Because I started writing about it, like, from the first, like, chapter, and I was like, and then I remembered, oh yeah, there was a prologue, wasn't there? I should probably mention the fact that I completely forgot about it, because it wasn't all that memorable. So it did kind of help tie it in, because it's like, oh yeah, by the way, as I was writing this, I remembered the game has a prologue. That should tell you how memorable it was.
Yeah. And there's stuff like that where it's like, in order to finish that, like, most effectively, it's like, you'd probably have to go back and replay it.
Yeah.
And, like, there's the part of you, it's like, it'd be nice to finish that. At the same time, I don't know if I want to do that.
Yeah. Like, I want to, just because I've written, like, a page and a half of it. Just so it's not sitting on my computer forever, not doing anything. It's like, you know, I could just post it as it is, but whatever.
Yeah. I get that feeling about, like, our comics occasionally. There's part of me that always wants to go back and, like, work on those again. And then there's part of me that's just like, for all the stuff I want to do, trying to, like, reevaluate what I have done and, like, because I think for, like, where I was rebooting the series and, like, what I've written for how to start that up, I have, like, 4 drafts of it. And, like, The most recent one is the longest. I have like 5-6 pages written in a notebook of just like dialogue, what's happening, but
you want to be careful with dialogue, especially in the comic, because it's like,
you don't want to overdo it.
This is 10 pages of almost nothing but text.
Yeah.
Like
that's the other thing.
You can save yourself the trouble of drawing anything and just write a book.
That's the other thing, too, though, is like, as much as I want to do it as a comic, part of me thinks it might be better to do it as a book, just because, like, when I'm writing that first issue, like, there's a lot about the universe that I kind of want to explain to, lay the foundation, but trying to figure out the best way to show that instead of just, like, tell it is hard because of how, like, complex the concept is.
Yeah.
I mean,
I totally get that, because, like, I've tried to write stories and stuff, and it's just, like, actually I think I have the opposite problem, because, like, when I try to write, like, my writing style, like, I could probably tell, like, most like, long books that people read in, like, 5 or 6 chapters. Just because, like, the way I write is so, like, concise and, like, brief. Like, I don't want to devote a ton of description to, like, the flowers blossomed in the breeze with their violet petals. Like, there were purple flowers on the ground. He walked past them. He didn't notice them.
Yeah. I mean, it's less interesting that way, but it's a good way to, like, break things down.
See, that's why,
way.
why I want, like, comics, because you draw everything, you don't have to write about it, everyone knows what it looks like. Or, like, in animation, where it's, like, or even film.
Yeah.
Like, I like writing scripts. Like, screenwriting has been, like, one of the most interesting classes. It's like, you have some description of the environment, so it's, like, interior shot, room, there's a bed in the center of the room and a TV on the right wall. So-and-so sits on the bed reading a book.
Right.
And it's like, that's all you need to know, because that's all you're going to shoot. It's like, oh yeah, there's the bed, there's the TV, there he is reading the book.
And, like, specific details, like, is the TV on? Like, what book is it? Like, stuff like that, you don't need to have written out, necessarily. Exactly. Because so that's there. Like, you're going to be able to see that.
Exactly. It's just, and then the dialogue, like dialogue is fun to write. Because, like, that's where your character's, like, personality comes through. So it's like, oh yeah, this guy, he's kind of, he's just kind of one of those dark loner types guys. So he doesn't have a lot to say, but it's really important what he says. So it's like, he would probably say it like, yeah, this is whatever.
Yeah.
Or like, this is the character who's like, kind of the badass, like the sarcastic kind of character. Those are always fun to write, because sarcasm kind of comes naturally to me.
That's the other thing, too, that I think kind of became a problem for me, is because I want the characters to have more character to them with the comics.
And not just be like, oh yeah, Label Buddy's the dumb one, Dragon Master's the... He's the main character, Leko's the smart one, Taylor's the chick.
Right, like... And the thing is, too, like, with my character, that was initially Dragon Master, kind of reworking him as a different but the same character... Like, because originally I just used myself as, like, a catch-all. Like, if I need someone to be, like, bonkers off the deep end, I used myself. Like, that was just kind of, like, the blank slot that I could fill in with, like, whatever the particular joke needed.
Yeah.
Whereas I kind of want to have more to the character, and so, like, trying to flesh that out and... still, like, how do I show it as opposed to just, like, express it only through dialogue.
Yeah.
But...
like, I kind of had a little bit of that problem with Leko, because, like, whenever there was something that called for me, like, as a person, to do something, like, extremely out of character for Leko was kind of weird, because, like, he's a robot, so he's not gonna be, like, hitting on some, like... on, like, some chick, because that's kind of weird, because robots would not do that, and it's, like, his character, it's, like... he's kind of like the smart, emotionless robot who's occasionally a little sarcastic. He wouldn't do something that out of character. So I just basically put myself in my comics twice. So it's like whenever I hate something, it's Leko who hates it. Whenever I like something that he wouldn't like, it's just me liking it. It's like,
right. Just to kind of keep the character in character. But, like, my biggest issue with trying to restart the series is I have to explain the universe, and, like, a big part of that is explaining the whole concept of the multiverse, and how do you show that, as opposed to like explain it with a wall of text? Because I could easily write like a good paragraph, and explain everything that needs to be explained about the universe
I think it's
put
possible.
that frame of mind. I don't know the most effective way to like make that visually interesting.
Like, well, because I was thinking of what I wrote for the latest version of the Comic Shorts RPG. I have that like intro where it's Leko narrating it, and there's like this animation of like a planet just popping into existence.
Yeah,
and then he's like, "Yeah, some things just kind of pop in here, and nobody really knows why." And and it explains why things are happening, but not why they happen.
Yeah.
So it's like, oh yeah, things just pop in. Who knows why? Doesn't matter. The fact is they do, and that's why the universe is weird.
Yeah, and I like that like approach with it of having like a character narrating it.
It doesn't necessarily adapt well to the direction you want to go, because it's like, well, you've got like a prequel kind of thing going on where nobody's there yet. Yeah. So who would be narrating?
And I think there is a way I could work that with having like Leko doing the narration. My bigger issue is like the concept of like him explaining like it popping in and like something popping up. You're writing that from the perspective of, like, the intro to a game.
Yeah.
And with that, it's going to be animated.
Yeah.
So, how do you translate what would be animated to be,
it's
like, in a comic? Because it's a different medium
show that. The way I kind of thought, it'd be like reverse storyboarding. Like, you start with the animation and draw a comic based on that. So it'd be like drawing the storyboards for the animation. So, I mean, it's doable, I guess. It's just kind of counterintuitive.
Yeah, it's a little clunky doing it that way.
Because the game is supposed to be an adaptation of the comic.
Yeah.
But you started going off in a different direction, and I took a different direction for the intro to the game. And there's no reason they can't be separate, like, continuities. Cause, like,
yeah. Well, just the nature of the universe that we kind of decided on how the universe works together just based on, like, okay, the comic just had this random stuff happening. There were, like, all these video game character cameos and stuff. How do we make sense of that? And that's where we were like, the multiverse, the universe that Comic Shorts takes place in is, like, this dumping ground of, like, when something goes missing or, like, something happens, it'll pop into that universe. And that's why it's this conglomeration of all this different stuff, because anything that could possibly happen has happened in some universe, and that something can potentially disappear and end up in this universe.
Yeah. And then it doesn't even fuck with the continuity of the original universe, because there's still another universe where absolutely everything happened the way it normally happened and nothing ended up in Comic Shorts here.
Yeah. And then the fact that we have, like, we can still write, like, the game, the reboot of the comic, and the original comic, they can all still be canon because that'll fit in the universe.
Yeah, like, they're like parallel
concept.
They're like parallel universes instead of just alternate universes. Because like I don't know if I wrote it into the script, but I had this idea where there's alternate universes, which are all like the universes out in the multiverse, and then there's parallel universes, which are kind of like they're like bubbles that are just kind of stuck to each other. So the same general idea happens in each universe, but there's like minor differences, like
right.
And then there's infinite numbers of those. So it's like, it's just infinite universes all the way down.
Yeah.
Basically. So it's just, yeah. It's weird, but it works, like, with the crazy randomness that happens in the comics.
Yeah. And, like, the more I think about it, it's like, if I were to try to do this as an animation, it would be a lot easier. Like, I want to do it as a comic just because, like, one, drawing pages is easier than, like, animating like 10-minute clips kind of thing. But there's also the fact that like that's kind of like the roots, and there's something about that medium that I really like.
The comic medium?
Yeah, I don't really know what it is about it. There's just something about it is appealing to me. But if I was able to like really motivate myself, because I've always been sort of a lazier person. I have a hard time like focusing on one project at a time, which is why I have so many unfinished things.
Yeah,
but if I ever,
I know that feeling.
Yeah, if I could ever find the drive to like get myself to sit down and really get into animation and stuff, I would love to do that. Like, have comic shorts be like a series, as like an animated series, as opposed to like a written series.
I think if we had an office, we'd get like 10,000% more shit done.
Oh yeah.
Just because it's like, this is your computer, you have this software and the internet. No games.
Yeah.
No shelves of anime or like shit all over the stuff to just look at for a while. Like, here's your idea, sit down, do it.
Yeah, it's why when I like go to work on miniatures, like put them together or paint them or whatever, I take all the stuff out of my bedroom and move it into like the living room, because I can't work in my living space. Because if I'm in here, the computer's right there, I'm probably going to get distracted, watch YouTube videos, play a game, whatever. Whereas if I go out into the other room, I can just, like, I can take an anime with me, throw that in, just listen to it, and work on my miniatures, you know?
Yeah.
Work on whatever project I have going on. And it kills two birds with one stone. I'm able to go through, like, series that I wanted to watch while working on a project. So, yeah, that's one thing that I really want, is to have, like, a dedicated workspace. Like, if I got the money for it, like, I probably will start saving up soon. I want to get another computer that is just a work computer. Like, it'll have Photoshop and the internet. That's pretty much all it needs. You know? It doesn't need to be, like, top speed, run, best game ever at best.
Really. Just like, have a decent amount of RAM and a good processor, and you're good for, like, most of what, like, Photoshop would require. I mean, I mean, maybe get it a little better than what you think you need if you do, like, if you decide to do, like, animation and stuff. But I mean, my computer's pretty good for everything I've needed it for so far, except occasionally in After Effects, like, there's RAM issues, but it's like sometimes when I'm editing in After Effects, like, I can do audio preview, but it like does it from the RAM, so sometimes it'll only play from, like, one ear. And I close Chrome, and suddenly it's fine, because Chrome was taking up just the wrong amount of RAM for it to actually do that. So, I mean, if I got, like, 2 more sticks of RAM, I'd probably be pretty good for anything I ever need to do.
Yeah. But yeah, like, I wouldn't need, like, a 3 terabyte drive for it, because I'm not going to need that much space for just working on something. Like, I can use, like, an external or something for storing finished stuff, but, like, whatever I'm working on, like, I don't need that much space for all that.
Yeah.
Because, I have, like, 100-some games installed on my computer. Like, half of them are installed on my external drive now.
Nice.
I made a second Steam library on my external.
That's kind of ridiculous, to be honest.
There's part of me that's like, I could probably uninstall some of these, because I'm not going to play them.
I guarantee you could.
But there's part of me that's like, if I do want to, like, just, if I get that motivation, be like, I want to play this game, I like being able to just start it up and not have to worry about installing it first.
Yeah, I mean, it's not like it even takes that long, though. I mean,
it depends on the game.
Yeah, but I mean,
like, there's some of the bigger ones that I've had to install a couple times where it's just like, I'm not uninstalling this again.
Yeah, I mean, like, most games, like, aren't that huge, but then you get some that are like 10 gigabytes. It's like, Christ, that's a fucking huge game.
Yeah.
I'm gonna let that one go overnight, and then it'll be done by morning, because it's like a 12-hour download or whatever.
Yeah.
Most games aren't that big, though. But, like, yeah. I've had to reinstall, like, both of my Fallout games, like, twice, try to get them to work. They still don't work, by the way.
That sucks.
Which fucking pisses me off, because...
It bugs me they discontinue the whole Games with Windows Live thing.
Like that's actually not even the problem, I don't think, because, like, I actually found out that it does, like, it saves your games for Windows Live saves locally, just in a different folder. So, like, you go into where it saves your games normally, and then there's, like, a folder with your account name on there, and that's where it saves all those saved games with that account, so I could just move them back and still access them, so... that was nice to find out when I went checking that out, but... fact is, Fallout 3 still doesn't work.
Yeah.
I try to load a game and it just crashes, and New Vegas does the exact same thing.
Huh.
I've tried everything I can find. Like, there was one suggestion where it's like, yeah, go into the configuration file, find this line, change it to this, find this line, change it to that, add this line. And it's like, okay, I did that. It still doesn't work. And I went looking like on the Fallout 3 mods site that I've been downloading mods from, and I found a mod that's like Windows 8 compatibility fix or whatever. It's like, oh, that'll probably do everything I need it to. Still didn't work.
Yeah.
And my last resort was to try and do a completely clean install, no mods, and it still doesn't work.
Well,
even with changing those lines in the config file, so I don't know what the fuck is going on, except Bethesda decided to fuck over everyone who's not using Windows XP or Vista.
I was about to say, well, it's clearly your problem is you're using Windows 8.
No, my problem is that I'm using Windows 8.1. Everything worked fine until they forced me to update to 8.1.
That's funny.
I swear to God. I had the mods and everything was running fine. I mean, it crashed every once in a while. Bethesda games do that.
Yeah.
But, I mean, then it's like, oh yeah, there's Windows 8.1. It does all the shit you're not going to use ever again. But, you should install it, because Windows 8. I'm like, okay, whatever. You're probably going to bug me to do it in the future anyway, so I might as well get out of the way now. Why doesn't Fallout work anymore? Why doesn't New Vegas work anymore? What the fuck?
Because reasons.
Like, I played it the day I downloaded that update. Then I downloaded the update. Then it doesn't work.
Wah, wah, wah.
Like, god damn it, Microsoft.
Yeah. I'm sure it'll get fixed eventually.
I don't think it will.
I mean, it's gotta get fixed eventually, like...
I don't think it will. Not if Bethesda's website, which basically says, oh, if you're not using Windows XP or Vista, go fuck yourself, as anything to go by. It's not literally what it says, but
it might as well be what
that's
it
what
says.
I interpret it as.
The thing is, like, eventually...
Someone's gonna come up with a patch for it, like an official...
Not even necessarily like that, but, like, eventually they're gonna have to, like, upgrade it to the standard, because... Eventually, Windows 7 will phase out, and Windows 8 will take over, and everything will have to get upgraded to that. Because, like, I know a couple months back, like, they stopped doing updates for XP.
Yeah.
Like, and everyone who had XP, like, they're kind of SOL. But, they're basically being forced to upgrade because now it's an unsafe system. Like, it's gonna get instantly attacked because there's no updates to keep it from being attacked.
Which I think is kind of a shitty thing to do, because it's like, oh, yeah, Windows 8, yeah, that'll be $600.
Yeah.
I don't have $600. All I have is Vista, which apparently is gonna be virus overrun in a few days.
Yeah, and I know there's, like, I guess there's some operating system that has, like, a certain version or whatever that is designed to be, like, exactly like XP.
Oh, yeah?
So, like, people who prefer XP can, like, get that. I think it's, like, a Linux system or something.
Probably. They do lots of open source stuff, so there's probably a version of it.
But, yeah, I guess the computer guys at the shop, like, they have a lot of older customers who, they're older, they don't want to learn new things, generally. So, and they're really stuck on XP, so, like, that's what he suggests to them. Like, he tells them, like, where to get that and stuff, because it basically works like XP. It's just, let me give you this system
like
instead.
the same UI and everything like that.
It's like, let me give you this system instead so you don't have to learn this new bullshit.
That's cool.
So...
And there's continuing support for it, so it's going to be updated. And
yeah.
That's nice. I mean, I'm not going to bother with that, because I don't care about learning new things. The only annoyance I have with getting a new computer is having to reinstall all my shit and load all my backups. Which, happens every once in a while anyway. I reformat my computer every few years or so, just,
It's probably a good
just
idea.
to clean it up. Get rid of shit that I didn't even know I don't use anymore.
My computer's a mess. One day, I'll have to go through and clean that thing up. Like, at the very least, I need to go back through and, like, reorganize my folders. Because, like, if you go onto my drive, like, you go into my music folder, and, like, I have, like, the new sorting system that I started, where it's like, okay, here's video game music, and in that folder, it's like, alright, here's some, like, Steam games, here's remixes, but then like there's another folder that's just unsorted, and it's like all my old folders. So like in that is one that's labeled music, and that one is my like original sorted folders. So
oh,
like
God.
it's like this mess of like I should probably go in and re-mess with that. And then my pictures folder is a nightmare, and yeah.
See, I went and organized everything on my computer like years ago, and I've basically been using the same system. Occasionally I'll add a folder like wherever, but everything is still generally in the same place it's supposed to go. So it's like, oh, I have a folder for screen caps of whatever I needed a screenshot of, so they're all here. And within that, I have like screenshots of Steam, screenshots of Facebook, screenshots of games, and then within that folder, it's like, oh, there's screenshots of whatever I can't capture through Steam. So but yeah, and then I have like my pixel art folder, my Photoshop folder with all my PSD files that I didn't want to get rid of for whatever reason.
My issue is like usually what I'll end up doing is like for pictures, for example, like I'll just kind of like start amassing them on my desktop, and it's like, okay, my desktop needs cleaning up, so I'll take them all and I'll put them in the pictures folder, but I won't sort it into the subfolders until like a year later when there's like 2,000 pictures that need to be sorted, and I'm like, what am I doing with my life?
See, whatever I do, whenever I have a new file, I put it where it's supposed to go.
Like right away.
Yeah, so they don't accumulate anywhere.
Yeah. That's what I need to get myself to start doing, but for now, it's just like giant dump pile of stuff.
I have a bunch of stuff on my desktop, but it's like organized. Like I have all my games and like gaming related stuff on my right monitor, just like in rows. Right. And then it's like, oh, there's Steam and there's Origin, which I haven't touched since I finished Dead Space 3. And then like on my middle monitor has no icons or anything on it. It's just like I have my little like Rocket Dog, which is like a taskbar, except it's at the top of the screen, and it has like custom icons and stuff. It's pretty cool. I've actually been using that for a long time, and I only recently figured out you can lock stuff on it because like I keep like my a web browser in my middle monitor, and sometimes I'll want to drag it to something else. When I scroll up, sometimes I'll scroll up a little bit, like a pixel too far, and it brings down my Rocket Dock, and I'll accidentally drag something off of it and delete it. And I'm like, God damn it, what was that? I don't even remember what that icon was. And then, like, I'll try, like, a week later, I'll try to go to that program or whatever it was and be like, oh, that must be what I accidentally deleted. And then I'll have to add it again.
I hate when that happens.
But yeah, then I found out, oh, wait, there's an option to lock everything. Does that do what I think it does? I try to click and drag, and it doesn't let me drag things off of it anymore. I'm like, why have I not been using that?
That's funny.
I forgot what I was talking about before that. Something that is
files, places.
Oh yeah. I have
Origin. No one uses.
Yeah, I have like so I have nothing in my middle desktop. It's just like there's a program called Rain Meter, which basically like lets you customize your desktop like with fancy graphics and stuff. So I have like stuff that tells me like what my system RAM or whatever, and all this cool like little technical stuff that I can just look at on the desktop, and like it's just all this like weird little like fancy looking techno stuff.
Right.
And then on my left is where I have like all my
games and stuff.
Like well no, my games are on my right. So on my left I have like media players and like Audacity and just whatever is like, related to like all my antivirus and stuff. And then a few folders. Like I have like folders for stuff that I need to access a lot, like often and quickly. Like I have a folder for Let's Play related stuff, so like that's where I keep all the thumbnails and stuff that I work on and PSDs and just pretty much anything related to gaming, I guess, is kind of what it's become. So I keep like stuff for reviews and things in there too. Like I have my Steam game chart in there actually, like all the versions of it. I haven't actually messed with that in a while. I kind of broke my rule during the last couple sales. Like, I'm not going to buy any games. Oh, except that one. And that one. And that one. Oh, that one's on sale. It's like, God damn it. Now I have to add stuff to my chart that I've been trying to like, take down stuff from. But, yeah.
The timing of the Steam sale was horrible for me. It's like, Alright, you know what? My PS2 went out and stopped playing PS2 games. I've been wanting to get a PS3 for a while. Now's the time to go find a backwards compatible one on eBay. Okay, cool, got it. Steam sale. Fuck you too. The timing was just awful. And then a similar thing happened recently. It's like at the shop. It's like, all right, so I'm gonna
all
buy
the games.
I'm gonna buy some stuff that I want online, and then I'm gonna start saving up money for the anime convention later this year. Oh, hey, look, here's all these super rare games, like complete in box. It's like, oh, I see. Thanks.
Why, God?
It's funny how that happens. Like, a lot of the time, there'll be, like, a game that I'm looking for. Like, it happened with Metroid Prime 2, where, like, I haven't seen a copy in years. I've always wanted to get another one ever since my original one disappeared. I think I let someone borrow it, and they, like, moved out of town or something.
That must suck, to let somebody borrow a game and never get it back.
Hey, at least I know I have it.
Yeah.
And I haven't, like, sold it. But,
it's not like I've been bugging you to get it back or anything. Like,
yeah. But yeah, like, so we get a copy of Metroid Prime 2 and, like the day before, like, we get paid. Like, it consistently happens like that. Like, 2 or 3 days before, like, the paycheck comes, it's like, oh, hey, look, here's this game you've been looking for the past 20 years kind of thing. And it's like, really? God damn it.
really?
So, like, a lot of times, like, a good portion of my paycheck goes right back to the store. Because it's like, oh, hey, look, here's this game. I'm just glad that now that I have the PS3 and I was like, I'll browse the PlayStation store. I'm glad that now I don't have to worry about getting Tomba and spending $50
Yeah.
on it, because
Or like,
like
any of those games that's like, man, I want this game, but I can only get it for like $50. Oh look, $5, $6.
I mean, there's still a couple where, like, it would be nice to find them. Like, I wouldn't complain about finding Tomba 2, because apparently, like, the one on the PlayStation Store, like, if you open up, like, the full description, it mentions it, but if you just, like, go to the game, it says Tomba 2 on the PlayStation Store. But when you download it, it's the Japanese version, like, which has a slightly different title, but I mean, it's the same game, but it's all in Japanese. And it doesn't mention it unless you bring up, like, the full description, and it's, like, way down at the bottom, there's, like, a little line, it's like, this is the Japanese version, or whatever, and it's like,
oh.
I was like,
Is
God
that why I can't
damn
read
it.
anything? I thought I'd gone illiterate for a minute.
Yeah, I was a little disappointed about that. Like, it was only, like, $6, but still, it's kind of like, damn it.
Clearly, it's a sign that you need to learn Japanese.
Clearly.
Just so you can play Tomba 2
Just so I can
and
play
understand
Tomba 2.
what's going on.
And then I can watch all my anime in Japanese, because that's the best way it is.
And you can play like all those other Japanese games that never got imported, but are only in Japanese. So it's like, yeah, I'm playing this. I can understand what's going on.
I mean, I could play Metal Wolf
honestly,
Chaos.
I think it
and
might be more
know
fun
the stats.
to play a game in Japanese and just make up your own dialogue for whatever the fuck is going on.
As long as it's not something where, like, you have to know, like, complex mechanics or something. Like, if there's, like, a puzzle where you need to, like, pay attention to what someone's saying.
Just like
kind
some
of thing.
kind of like a platformer or something.
Yeah. That would actually be
that
kind
had
of
a
funny.
story, and you can play it in Japanese. It's just like oh, so
Like-
this is like so and you just make up like it'd be like in
It'd be like
I-
if we
bleh.
took, like, Mega Man.
I lost the ability to talk for a minute.
If we took, like, one of the later Mega Man games, like Mega Man, like, X6 or something, and,
Yeah,
like, played,
and
like,
played
the
in-
Japanese version, and just, like, made up dialogue for the cutscenes.
Like, Zero, I think I just saw Boba Fett.
That
what the
actually
fuck
might
are
be
you
kind
even
of funny.
smoking, X? Go back to base. There's some new weird animal robots that are fucking shit up.
That actually might be kind of funny. We might have to do something like that at some
Just
point.
make a completely new series where we play games in Japanese and just dub our own voices over them.
Like, add in our own storylines to them. And, like, we gotta have one of those moments where, like, someone just has, like, a exclamation or something where they're like, "Ha!" And it's just, like, a little short thing of text, but, like...
Exclamation point!
Well, no, like, it's, like, a little short thing of text, like one word or something, but, like, we go on this, like, 10-minute tangent of, like...
It's, like, 3 characters, it's like, once when I was 12 years old, I had a dog. And it just goes on for, like, 10 minutes.
Yeah, it's like, I had a dog, and his name was Scruffy, but then one day Scruffy attacked my mama, so my poppy, he shot my dog. But then I got me a new dog, and I named him Scruffy 2.0.
And I gave him bulletproof armor, and highly calibrated, etc., etc. It's just like...
But then one day Scruffy 2.0, he killed my peppy. But then the twist at the end of the story was Scruffy 2.0 was my peppy.
Whoa. Like, X? What the fuck are you smoking? It's like, wait, what? You just went on for like 15 minutes about some dog killing your dad. Oh, Scruffy? What about
him? We might have to do something like that. Just like as like an off thing, like... Maybe even after we finish, like, the X games, go back to, like, one of the ones that, like, we particularly enjoyed or, like, just want to play again for whatever reason and just be like, let's redub it.
Give everybody the X4 voice acting style. So,
oh, God.
So X is like, 0! I found a thingamajig!
Oh, I mean, we could just play Mega Man 8.
Yeah, we could.
I mean, that's a joke that writes itself.
Well, that's no fun. What's there to make fun of if it practically makes fun of itself?
Good thinking, Mega Man.
What's your name again?
God damn it, Dr. Light.
The line is, we must recover the energy, Mega Man. We must recover the energy immediately, Mega Man? God damn it! This is take 17!
I swear they like did that whole game in like one take. Like they handed the scripts and like they were like reading it, like going over it and like reading it out loud.
We must recover the energy immediately, Mega Man. But, yeah, that's a good idea. Go find Dr. Warwick.
And it's like, all right, cool. I'm ready. Yeah, this looks good. I'm ready to read it. Oh no, we got it.
Like, what? I didn't even know we were recording.
Yeah.
That game had bad voice acting.
It did. It did. I remember I used to always get stuck, like, halfway through it. Because, like, it gave you 4 bosses. And then after you beat those 4, it gave you the second 4.
Mm.
But the last one I would always go to was, like, the snow guy. And he had this... It was a, like, rail segment where you're on, like, a snowboard.
Oh yeah. You've talked about that before. It's like jump, slide, jump, slide. That's what John references every time he does that, by the way.
Yeah. That segment used to kick my ass though. Like as a kid I could never get past it, so I always got stuck at that point in the game. I never was able to get to the second half because I couldn't beat that stage. Like getting to the boss, you just like obliterate him, but getting to the boss was the hard part.
Yeah.
But I can do it now. Like, last time I went to play the game, I played all the way up till, like, Wily, I think. But, yeah. Good times.
Aside from the X games, I don't think I've ever actually beaten a Mega Man game. Now that I think about it.
Yeah. Same. Oh, well, I guess I've beaten Legends.
Oh, yeah, there's that, too. I did beat Legends. Or 64, as it was known to me.
Yeah. Which was basically just Legends, except there was, like, a couple of weird minor differences.
Yeah.
Like,
as I understand it.
There's, like, a area of the game where there's this hill, and, like, there's a path behind it, and you can, like, walk over, and there's, like, a building back there or something. And the side of the hill that's, like, further from you is where the path is on the PlayStation version.
Mm-hmm.
But on the 64 version, it's the side of the hill that's closer to you.
Huh.
It's, like, it's weird little shit like that. There's also another area where there's, like, a bridge or something, and it's, like, a different style of bridge.
Like, really? That's the only... I get that it's support, that you made it for 2 different systems, but really? I mean, what's wrong with it being the exact same game?
I don't know. The weird little differences don't even make sense. That's the worst.
Like, well, we had to make it different so people would want to buy both versions. Like, you're a fucking idiot. Like, I mean, add a new boss or
change something.
Add something. Don't just this bridge, here it's a rope bridge, here it's a suspension bridge. It's a 2-foot bridge. Why would you even need suspension cables for that?
Yeah, it's over like a little stream.
We don't even need a bridge. Give him you can step over it. You don't even have to jump.
I don't know. This weird stuff.
Capcom. Where's Legends 3, damn it?
Cancelled.
Fuck you.
Where's X9? Non-existent.
Do we really need an X9?
We do.
Why?
X8 actually has like this like cliffhanger to it.
Oh.
Like,
well, that's fun.
Yeah. So when you beat Sigma at the end, there's like this little segment where it had something to do with like Axel, and like it kind of gave you this hint of like where they were going to go with it afterwards, but there was never another game. Like there was Command Mission, which came out after that, but it didn't.
Oh yeah.
That was like its own thing. Like that was kind of like weirdly off to the side. Doesn't really fit in. I don't with the timeline. I don't think that game was fun. It kind of played like
Command Mission.
Yeah, the battle system plays like Final Fantasy X. So like in other Final Fantasies, you have the active system where just a character's time bar fills up, and whenever you input the command is when it goes, and enemies can kill you if you're not inputting commands. 10 went back to the like static system, so depending on your speed, there was a certain turn order, and you could see the turn order off to the side and like change it by doing like different abilities. Like guarding, for example, would move you up in future turn orders because you're not using your full turn kind of thing. So it had that type of system. And I think it's on one hand it's like less intense than the active system, and it's nice to have more time to think about some things, but at the same time it's kind of takes away some of the like difficulty because you have so much time to be like, well, what if I do this, or what if I don't know, I'm gonna go take a nap, I'll come back. I mean, at least
you didn't win when you come back from the nap.
Yeah, I was about to say. I mean, you can do that in 13 and beat a boss, so that's one problem. One of these days, I need to play like the future versions of 13, because I've heard they improved on it, and I kind of want to give them a chance as much as like I actually beat 13. It took 50 hours. Most of it was watching cutscenes, and even the gameplay felt like it was watching cutscenes.
Yeah.
But I've heard a lot of like praise for like the later ones, like 13.2 and stuff, that they improved on the system enough. And I kind of want to at least give them a chance, because I do harp on the game a lot, and I think it's only fair to give it that second chance.
Yeah.
Like,
see, what I would do is give the next one a chance, and if that one is still bad, fuck the whole series.
Yeah. Well,
I mean, like, if they can't get it right after 2, everything after that doesn't matter, because they've lost everyone they're trying to get into it. Like that was like going back to horror discussion. Paranormal Activity. There's like 5 of those now.
Oh yeah.
I hated the first one because literally fuck all happens in it. The second one, it's like more of the same shit, except there's like a whole extra jump scare in it or whatever. I'm like, okay, that's it. I'm done with this. I don't care if the third one is God's gift to horror. I'm not gonna watch it.
Yeah.
Because you lost me. I gave you 2 chances, and you fucked them both up. So, I mean, fuck everything after that.
Yeah. I am kind of looking forward to Final Fantasy 15. It's been a while since I've heard much on it, but I do remember seeing like a trailer, and it looks like they're kind of taking it more towards like the action RPG style of game. Like, what would I compare it? I guess like the Ninja Gaiden, Devil May Cry, God of War, that style.
Kingdom Hearts.
Yeah. Like, more of the action style of gameplay as opposed to the turn-based thing. And that's probably the way they should go with it, with how much they are trying to make the series cinematic.
Yeah.
So, it looks interesting, and I'm kind of curious to see how that does. But...
yeah, on the one hand, it's nice that they're, like, trying to be innovative and do different things. But... I mean, trying to stick with what has worked in the past, I mean, like, it works for some games, it doesn't work for others, so, I mean, it'll be interesting to see where that goes, I guess.
Yeah. And on that note, Kingdom Hearts 3, I'm kind of... part of me is like, I want to play it, because I've been waiting for it forever. But then part of me is like, I'm not sure how to feel about some of the, like, things they've shown. Like, there's the kind of, like, Disney theme park ride segments or whatever, or, like, attacks that they've shown.
I haven't been following it, like, all that closely. I know it exists, and I've heard people get excited over some of the worlds. Like, oh, there's gonna be a treasure planet in Atlantis. I'm like, okay, that's cool.
I mean, I'm excited about it.
I've never seen Treasure Planet still, but I mean, it's on my it's on my Netflix list someday, eventually.
We need to fix that.
I've seen part of it,
but yeah, one of the videos shows, you know, like the special attacks you would do.
Yeah.
There's one where it's like a big like swinging boat ride kind of thing.
Oh, okay.
And it's like. Like, part of it's like, okay, that's kind of interesting, but at the same time, it seems weird. And there was another segment they were showing where Sora was fighting one of the Titans from Hercules, and he was on, like, a roller coaster, like an actual roller coaster that was, like, flying through the air. So it's like, it seems interesting, but I don't know how to feel about that yet.
Yeah, that's like... because, I mean, like, the cool thing about Kingdom Hearts, like, the first couple ones, it's like the Disney universe.
Yeah.
Like, not the fact that Disney was a thing, because Disney's not a thing. These are just characters in their own universes. And bringing, like, Disneyland into the mix, it's like... so there's a theme park based on your everyday lives that you do normally? Or what? Like, what is this? Like, why is there a roller coaster? Why am I a swinging boat? That seems kind of...
It seems a little weird, and it's like, depending on how they execute it, I can see it as being like, okay, I can let this pass, as opposed to like, this is completely like killing it for me. But so I'm kind of curious on how that's going to turn out, and it will be interesting to see like what worlds they do end up putting in and stuff. There's quite a few that I would like to see, and there's like some where it's like, I'm kind of tired of that world, you know?
I want to be more excited for Kingdom Hearts 3, but, like, I'm a little concerned that there's going to be a lot of, like, touching on story and elements that I've missed, because I've only played the 2 main games.
Right.
I have not played any of the spin-offs. Like, I played Chain of Memories for about 5 minutes before deciding I didn't particularly care for the combat system, so...
which is fair.
Yeah. It's not bad, it's just not for me, and, you know...
One thing I really liked about Chain of Memories, because it's like, I played the games in order. I played the first one, Chain of Memories, and the second one.
Oh.
So, like, I was able to go into the second one knowing what happened in Chain of Memories. And one thing I like about it, though, is when you play the second one, there's a lot of stuff that does, like, connect to and, like, touch on what happened in Chain of Memories, but you can miss Chain of Memories and not actually miss out on anything that's going on in 2. Like, it's vaguely touched on enough to, like, acknowledge it happened, but it's not, like, necessary to the story.
Okay, so...
like...
so if you have to skip something, Chain of Memories is the one to skip.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like, all you need to know of Chain of Memories...
they did, like, all these other... there's, like, 50 fucking spin-offs. I don't know anything about them except, like... oh, that's those characters who were in, like, the secret trailer at the end of Kingdom Hearts 2 when you beat it with whatever.
Yeah.
Like, I get that those characters have been used in something now. I don't know anything about them. Like, I think the assumption when that was first discovered is that it was a sequel or something.
Yeah.
And then it's like, oh, it's a prequel. So these characters are all, like, dead or transformed into whatever, so they're just,
So they're irrelevant, basically.
But they're still important to the story because one of them is Roxas, except he's actually Sora, who's kind of Roxas, but sort of not really.
Yeah, I don't know. I actually do plan on playing through the other spin-offs because, so when I picked up my PS3, I picked up the Kingdom Hearts 1.5 HD remix, and it has like Kingdom Hearts Final Mix, Chain of Memories Final Mix, and one of the spin-offs. This year they're releasing 2.5, which has Kingdom Hearts 2 Final Mix, and it has 2 of the other ones. So I'll probably end up playing those because they'll actually be on like a console as opposed to a handheld.
Oh yeah.
And that was what really turned me off from all the spin-offs, was they were all handhelds. But yeah. Pretty much the gist of Chain of Memories. They're going to go find like Mickey or whatever from like the end of the first one or something.
Yeah.
And like they come to this like mansion or something, and there's this segment of Organization 13 that didn't like what like Xemnas was doing or something, so they went to go do their own thing, and they took Naminé, and she has the ability to manipulate memories. So like the entire game is her manipulating Sora's memories to change it from like he's looking for Kairi to he's looking for Naminé.
Okay.
And then at the end, like he's like he meets up with her and like has this choice of like he can have his old memories back, but he's going to forget everything that happened while he was in the mansion, kind of thing.
Okay, so that's why he doesn't know anything about Organization 13. It's like, who are these freaks in the hoods? What the fuck is going on?
Yeah. So,
okay.
like, you can miss that because, like, it's all forgotten about anyway.
Yeah, because if Sora doesn't know, then you're not going to know, so that makes sense.
Yeah.
So that's kind of cool how
it's all forgotten about anyway, so you can skip it and not really miss anything, but it is kind of interesting to have that side story because there are some of the other members of Organization 13 that you don't get to meet. Like, I think the only one that actually lives is Axel. And, like, he actually killed one of the other members that was, like, a traitor or whatever, if I remember right. Yeah, what are we at time-wise? Like, a lot?
We're at an hour and a half. I was about to kind of, like, let's bring things to a close. That was surprisingly talkative.
Yeah.
For I was kind of worried we would have like
dead moments,
just like a full minute of awkward silence, just like what do we talk about, or But yeah, we just kind of rambled for an hour and a half, exactly as planned.
Yeah.
Like we'll start out talking about
this thing and
talking about the logo and graphic design, and we ended on Kingdom Hearts and what's weird about the spin-offs.
Yeah.
And we talked about like everything else in between. Horror games and Star Wars and prequels in general. Translating made-up text. What else?
A lot of things. So,
well, that was actually a lot of fun, I will say. If anybody's bothered to listen to this entire hour and a half, or if you're skipping around because there's a little YouTube thing you can click around, you're probably going to have no idea how we got here, depending on where
we don't know how we got to this point of the conversation.
I think I actually traced it pretty well. That's always fun to do. Just like, it's like, we're talking about this. How did we end up talking about this? Well, we started talking about this, and that got me thinking about that, so I brought that up, and then we were talking about this, and then we switched to that, and you can just like trace like a whole map of the conversation.
It's always fun
Which is always fun to do with the stuff we talk about. We just go off on tangents. Oh, we talked about Mass Effect and like branching stories and good and bad endings too.
Yeah.
This is actually going to be helpful for me when I like edit this, so I'll know what to describe everything as. Like when I put up the YouTube file, it'll be like, yeah, so this episode we talked about everything I talked about in the last minute of the video.
Basically.
Okay, so thanks for listening. This has been Gaming Wizards SpellCast, episode 1 of possibly many.
Yeah, it's fun. I think the only thing that we'll have to do in the future is kind of like really set ourselves a time limit. And
I mean, an hour and a half is about average length for a podcast.
Yeah. I think maybe like 30 minutes to an hour wouldn't be bad to try to like aim for, like get ourselves to wind down a little earlier. But yeah.
All right, well,
good start.
Yeah. like I said, thanks for listening. We'll see you whenever we do the next one. It knows, man. The game knows. It's gained sentience. The game's playing itself, John.
The game's playing itself, John. But this isn't Final Fantasy 13.
Pump up the volume, pump up the volume. We'll say 40. Maybe, yeah, 50's good, actually. Remember
that time when the music was all like...
You mean like it is right now?
Yeah.
And has been for the past, like, 15 minutes we've been doing test recordings?
At least.
15, 20 minutes, you know.
It's very easy to get distracted in our conversations and not notice that, oh yeah, we should check that.
That's what I'm saying, man. Podcast.
I know. SpellCast. So brilliant. Just in the name.
I know, right? I'm glad I thought of that. Mostly I'm glad we get to use at least most of the logo I designed for it. Which could have been the original CSGamingWizards logo. But you were all like, no, this one. And I was like, yeah, okay, that works too.
It's fancy, okay?
But mine was, you know... It was...
Not fancy.
It was a different kind of fancy.
Dude, we should
It was
play...
mine is more indicative of what we do.
We should play this
What
if
is
we
it?
ever get an emulator. It's a pinball game.
Pinball game?
It's called Dragon's Fury.
I would never have gotten pinball out of that.
I know, right?
I would, like, that's the game.
Apparently it's like a really good game.
That's the kind of game I would pick up and be like, oh, cool, this looks like an awesome RPG. Why is it pinball?
Yeah, really.
There's dragons and shit. Oh, it's pinball.
Yeah, so that GameSack show, they talk. There's like some other system version of this game, which is like, and I was like, you know, for a pinball game, that looks really badass. And then I found out there was a Genesis version, and that we had it in stock. And I was like,
mine.
I then also realized that this is the only Genesis game I have without the box. And it kind of makes me sad.
I have a couple that aren't... Like, I don't keep any of mine in boxes, so I don't think I have most of the boxes anymore anyway, but... The majority of the ones I have, I did come with boxes.
Also, I picked up this, like, RPG that cost me $60. And I really should play it at some point.
What is it?
Lunar.
The name rings a bell.
I think it was originally released on, like, Sega CD or something. But they re-released it on, like, the PlayStation. Like, as, like, a box set. Like,
because
Lunar
the Sega...
Complete.
Because the Sega CD sucked.
Yeah.
And nobody bought it.
Yeah. We have one at the shop.
Huh.
It's $100. It's like the CD with like the Model 2 attached to it.
Oh.
So you can play your Genesis and your CD stuff. But yeah. The main reason I decided to pick it up though was because it was like in the box, and even the box is messed up. The like jewel case inside it, pristine. All the discs, fantastic. Soundtrack, the like making of disc that's in there, and then like the game manual. It's actually like a separate book, and it's hardcover.
Wow.
And it has a little cloth map.
Oh.
So it's like, oh. When it came
Fancy.
in, I was like, this is so cool. And I was like, I sat, and there was a video of GameSack that made me want to buy it. Because like I was like, man, that game actually looks really fun. And I like looked over at it, and I'm like, I'm going to end up buying you. I just know
Buy me.
Christmas happened, and I did.
Buy me. Snowblind.